Hey, it's Saturday. I'm up at the office working, and I was just reading through our Service Autopilot Academy forum and private Facebook group, and I am seeing something that several people are talking about where they feel that there's so many risks in business, and is it all worth it, and it's kind of scary. So let me give you a little context, and then I want to maybe give you a little encouragement on that. Just reading it this morning, I thought, you know what, this might make for a good video, because I have to believe that a lot of people feel this or worry about it some days, especially when you're kind of tired and worn out. I know I did in the past and still do to some degree. So quick little background here. So in Service Autopilot Academy this past Thursday, we did about 4.5 hours on how to find and recruit employees, all kinds of ways to do that. And then we talked about how to build your team and find the best people to help build and run the company. And at the end, we went through 12 of the biggest risk HR topics going on right now. More geared towards US, but definitely applied a bit to Canada as well. And so after you go through the 12 things that are big risks as employers, and the things we need to watch out for, and the things we need to mitigate in our business, then you really could feel this sense of the energy and life being sucked out of you. And you say to yourself, man, if there's all these risks, is it really worth building my business? Is it worth trying to get bigger, or should I just stay small? Wouldn't it be easier if it's just me doing the work? And like, all these things go through your head. And naturally so, I've been there as well. And so the reason I thought to do this is I want to make a point. It's true. If you look at all the laws you have to comply with, all the things you have to do, all the things that could go wrong, somebody on your team could fall out of a tree, they could get killed, and maybe you didn't have enough insurance, or you didn't pay overtime to a person, or you classified someone as a salary-based worker and they should have been an hourly worker, or you use an H-2B visa and you don't get your people. I mean, I can go down the list, and you think about all this stuff, you're like, man, is it even worth it? And my argument would simply be this. You could choose to stay small and not get bigger, but then what happens is you never get to hire the people to join your team that have the wisdom to help you solve these problems, or you never hire the people you need on your team that can just have more bandwidth to do things, to go say, what needs to get done, I'll do that, because you can't possibly do it all and bill all the work. And then too, as you make more money, you can go hire wise counsel, you can hire wise people, you can go to the industry trade shows, you could, heaven forbid, actually meet one of your competitors and periodically talk with them at a friendly level, so you both learn things and mitigate your risk. You could do things like Service Autopilot Academy with other business owners. You could get into some kind of a business group. There's all these things you could do, and that would help you figure out what you need to do and solve and be proactive. And that comes by building the business and having a little bit of money. And also, as you build this company, if you're prudent and wise and you don't blow all your money on big homes and cars, you could save some of it and build a reserve, and then you have some padding so that if anything ever happened to you, you'd have the money to have a great lawyer, you'd have the money to pay the fine, you'd be able to work it out and keep this business an asset that you built. And so I tend to prefer to go a little bit bigger with your business. Well, along those same lines, if you really think about it and you say, man, there's just so much risk, maybe this isn't for me. I'm not wired this way. It's too much pressure. I don't want to do it. It'd be easier to be smaller, maybe. And I'll tell you, for most companies where it's just you or you and a helper, you could make more money not being in the industry. You could make more money going and getting a job. However, let's follow that line for a moment. Let's say you go get a job. Well, the company you're working for has all the same risks you have. Now you're not top dog in the organization, and the owner gets into some trouble because of OSHA, or the government comes to him, or he didn't pay his sales tax or whatever. It's similar mistakes to what you could potentially make if you're not paying attention or not solving things as you grow and get bigger and are capable of solving them. And so what does he do? Well, he doesn't fire himself. He fires you. He survives, he stays on, he figures it out, he shrinks the size of his company. Which guy would you rather be in that equation? The dude that's for sure fired looking for new employment, or the guy that goes through some pain and survives? So getting a job, that's not exactly a better option. And then if you take it just a little bit further, imagine if we went through our entire life like we might be doing in our business and saying, oh my gosh, there's so much risk, I can't do this, it's not worth it, too much pressure, too many things could take me down, I could work for years and then it's all wiped away. Well, I mean, if you want to get down to it, I mean, if you have kids, how much risk was there in terms of having kids? Something could have been wrong with your kid when they were born, something could happen to them when they're 2, a bazillion things could happen to your kid. You could have your kid for 15 years and they're involved in some terrible accident when they start driving at 16. But I mean, a million things could happen, but would you not have kids? No, kids are awesome. If you have kids, you know you'd never not have kids. Or what about driving? We have to drive. We drive every day. We don't get in our cars and worry, oh my gosh, I don't know if this is going to go well because somebody could be texting and they could hit me, or a deer could run out in the street, or my brakes might fail. We don't worry about those things. Rather, what we do is we learn how to drive. We learn how to mitigate risk. We wear our seatbelt. We obey the traffic laws the best we can. Sometimes we make mistakes. We try not to text and drive. We try not to flip through our music in Pandora or Spotify as we're driving in the car, so that we can pay attention. We keep our car maintained. You get the idea. Well, that's the same thing we do in our business. And so anything in life could be taken down you could travel down a road of it's just too much. There's too much risk. But why isolate business? Like I'm saying, I mean, every aspect of your life, you'd never go hunting again, you'd never play football as a kid, you'd never do anything if you really thought about all the risks that could happen in everything. So I think the same is true for business. You're right, tons of risks, there are. But if you do it right and you play the game to the best of your ability and you treat your team right and you treat people right, odds are it'll work out for you. Yeah, you might get unlucky. I might get unlucky. Something bad might happen. But if we've got our ducks in a row and we've built a team and we've saved some money, we can survive to live another day. And we can work through whatever that bad thing that, unfortunately happens to us, but yet we still own our business. We still get to dictate the direction we're going in life. We still get to play our game. We still get to have some level of control. And we still get to build the knowledge and ability to go do it again later, or have the confidence that you could do it again later if you had to. It's worth a whole lot. So don't be beat down when you think through all that could happen to you. Rather just write those things down and make a list of how you're going to, over time, check one after the other off your list and solve it. That's all you can do. You can't solve them all today. Not possible. You don't have the money or the time. And there's a whole lot of things you don't know. Just make a list of what you do know and start working towards that list. But don't let it derail you from growing the business. Don't let it derail you from trying to get bigger and hiring more people.